Today I'm just painting a bird on an orchid, and since there is no really deeper meaning to this picture at all, I thought I'd just kind of talk a little bit about how I decide what to draw sometimes. Because we've recently already established the wonderful idea of just drawing what you want instead of drawing what you think you should be drawing. Because art isn't motivating enough when you don't have regular wins. And an accessible way to feel like you're winning sometimes is to be able to see the value in your art that goes beyond the skill of it. So just to refresh, there are a few different possible points of value that you can add to your art. One is you're drawing for entertainment. Like, for example, you're a fan of something. So you draw a lot of fan art to make up for the week you're waiting between new episodes or whatever. Or that the process itself is just relaxing. You love coloring. It relaxes you. Another point of value would be through connection. Maybe drawing is an activity that you share with somebody, so you have this reliable topic to bond over and motivate you to meet each other regularly. That was something that I had growing up that I don't think I would continue drawing without that. Another possible value is that it's a method of expression. If you don't draw regularly, you get this weird itchy feeling or brain fog, like you're holding too many ideas, feelings, or stresses inside. And instead of writing or making music, maybe drawing is just something that comes easier to you. And you have a visual language to do that. And finally, a really good one is preservation. Like they say about photography, you collect what you're most afraid of losing. And drawing kind of lets you record things that perhaps a camera won't, depending on who's, using it. You could collage things together. You can express feelings and describe things using different colors or textures or whatever. These are just the things that are off the top of my head that I personally use as a go-to. I'm sure there's gotta be some more. And if you know of any, please let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to check those out. So I suspect seasoned creatives kind of do all of those, but if you've never put much thought into your choices and are always just struggling to think of something to draw when you feel like drawing, you can at least just kind of pick one from the list and get going. And I think the simplest one to start with would be preservation. I think what kicked off that sort of thing for me was the photo a day project. And some people still do now, like the 365 project or whatever. I was just taking a photo every day, or at least trying to. And that's my favorite scrapbook because I really love flipping through and seeing all of those little tiny mundane details. You have to take a picture every day. You have to take a picture of something, which is really difficult when your days are very boring. You just go to work all day and you come home and do a chore, and then time passes before you and you have to go to bed again. There were so many days where I would get to the end of the day and realize I didn't take a picture, and I just wouldn't. Or if the weather was nice enough, I would just take a picture of literally anything, like the state of my room, a snack that I tried for the first time, or if I was on the ball, I'd take a picture of places that we went to explore for the first time, or somebody I was hanging out with that day. I really liked seeing those moments captured, the kind that you really forget, so that when I look back on that year of photos, my life isn't such a blur. These little tiny things that I would otherwise have forgotten that are actually not bad. That's my favorite one. And I think from doing that, it was like giving myself permission to think of mundane, boring things as something very valuable. And things that were worth remembering, and also things that are worth drawing and keeping and talking about. Notice the kinds of things that you're most drawn to, and you start kind of analyzing the reasons why you're drawn to those things. Maybe you draw a lot of oceanscapes or fish or whatever because of a trip to the beach you did with your grandparents when you were younger or something like that. There's a reason why we're drawn to certain things that other people don't care about. And once you kind of figure that out, it's so much easier to talk about your art. If somebody eventually asks you, what does this mean? Some art of mundane objects is really interesting, either by the style that they do it or the drama that they add to it. Sometimes it's annoying because you look at that and you think, damn, why didn't I think of that? If you think about your sketchbook or whatever as a place to preserve things, it becomes easier to kind of think of things to draw. And if I can't think of things to draw, it's a sign that I have not left the house enough or tried new things enough and need to get out there and fill my well. So this bird painting First of all, it's a yellow canary that I just chose because I wanted to ultimately hang this painting in a vet office, and I try to lean more towards like domesticated animals if I can, because I like to post art in the animal hospital for exposure, and in exchange I would donate half of the price to the BCSBCA, which means if it's still somehow June by the time I upload this, and it's purchased during June, I will do that. My timing has not been that great. But yeah, otherwise, I got this idea because I wanted to preserve a little moment when we went to what is that thing called? The Bloedel Conservatory, which is a fun little place. It's really small, but you can go in and it's just really interesting kind of exotic plants and wild birds in a tropical climate. And it's really hot and humid, and I just love it. But just seeing the orchids covered in a mist of dew, and there were some yellow birds there, and that's what I wanted to kind of capture with this. I wanted to recreate the scene of the birds attacking the orchids and fighting with each other a little bit. But it was beautiful, and it was a nice day. An easily forgettable day that I'd like to keep. Even though I have no reason to expect anyone to personally connect with an image of a canary and an orchid, I added a little heart there because it's cute. I gave it a title, which I think was Love Song, which every time I read it just reminds me of that song. It was a major hit in the 90s. I hate that song, and it's just so catchy. But what if somebody does? What if somebody who owns a canary, maybe recently lost a canary, really connects with that? Or maybe like somebody like me who's tried orchids and killed it. There are lots of people who might feel some kind of connection in ways that I wouldn't expect, and they would come up with all these wonderful, deep meanings. Some people are really drawn to birds in general because they symbolize freedom. So yeah, this is just me kind of creating a value in this thing that I'm drawing that goes beyond the skill of it, because if this was just a little pen doodle that was kind of bad, it would still serve to remind me of a day where I went out and explored with my spouse. That kind of thing motivates me to keep this drawing and to continue drawing. And so yeah, the next time you want to sit down and draw something you don't know what to draw, just kind of look back on days like this and see if you can kind of pull little details here and there that you can draw or combine together to preserve that memory in a visual way, even if it's kind of like insignificant and boring. And thanks for watching. Bye!